Understanding the local rental landscape is crucial to finding a place that feels like home away from home. So let's break it down for you. If you are an expat or a foreigner looking to rent a property here in the Philippines, then you are just in the right place. So welcome back everyone. My name is Ralph of The Shortlist, and today's video, it's all about rentals. This video will be full of essential information that will help you navigate the real estate rental market with confidence. So as a potential tenant, there are a lot of things that you have to consider. Number one, what are the different types of rental properties? Second is, what's the average rental rate? Third, what locations are you considering? And lastly, what documents you have to provide for a more seamless move-in process. In the Philippines, you'll find mainly two types of rental properties. You have condominiums and single-family homes. Condominiums are more popular among expats, primarily because these are located in mixed use and progressive business districts. Also, many modern condominiums now are packed with different kinds of amenities and features. You also get 24/7 security measures. And also, this is something that's often overlooked, a reliable maintenance for the upkeep of the property and the amenities of the building. So of course, you may be living inside the unit, but you're also using the facilities. And sometimes, depending on your agreement with your landlord, you're the one paying for it. And if your entire family is coming with you to the Philippines and you're looking at a property that offers a bigger multi-level space for your family, dedicated rooms for your household staff, and a flexible working space, then a single family home within the city, just like here, is another option. But take note, these in-city neighborhoods, especially those located in Makati, are the most exclusive here in Metro Manila. So you might be spending a bit more compared to your average residential condominiums. So given these two types of properties, now you have to identify what kind of properties are you considering. Is it a condo or is it a single family home? And then there is the location. So I'm not sure if you've noticed, but since the start of this video, we've already switched from one place to another. Considering the traffic here in Metro Manila, accessibility is key to everything. If you're bringing your family with you, you have kids, how close is your home to the nearest schools? How close is this to the nearest hospitals for emergency situations? How close is this to the malls, the restaurants or commercial areas? And most importantly, how close is this to your workplace? This right here is Makati City. Here in the middle is Bonifacio Global City. And right there, towards the right, is McKinley. Makati City is one of the most established cities here in the Philippines. And decades later, Bonifacio Global City was born. It's more progressive, it's modern, and many businesses and corporations who stood out in Makati before are now moving to Bonifacio Global City. If you're looking at modern developments and modern residential condominiums, then Bonifacio Global City is the best option for you. If you are considering house and lots, or even old condominiums that have retained its character and facilities and amenities are still well maintained, then you can go for Makati City, because I tell you, you can still find the best value for money inside the Makati business district. And you have parks here that hold events every weekend, such as those located in Salcedo and Legazpi Village. And if you're going to be here in the Philippines long term, you might have thought of buying a car. And one thing that you should consider is how hard it is to find parking spaces, whether you're in BGC or Makati City. So that is why I urge you to find a property that comes with parking slots, especially if you're renting or buying a residential condominium. By the way, to all buyers out there, if any agent or anyone tells you that parking slots are investments, don't believe them, please. A parking slot is not an investment, but a necessity. If you're going to be buying a parking slot, roughly it would cost around 900 to 1.5 million pesos. And that's just a conservative figure. Some parking spaces, especially in BGC, could go as high as 2.7 million. And you know what the average rental rate is? It's roughly around 5,000 to 6,000 pesos per month. So considering you purchase a parking slot worth 1.5 million and you rent it out for 5,000 a month, the ROI would be at least 25 years. So it is not an investment, it is a necessity though. Since we're now talking about prices, you have to ask, what is the average rental rate around Metro Manila? Your top locations, your top destinations would be Makati, BGC, Ortigas, and probably the Bay Area or Macapagal. I say BGC could be the most expensive, ranging from around 900 to 1,500 pesos per month, of course depending on the category of the property. Then you can go to Makati being the second, because there are still old buildings that you can find a good value for your money, coupled with the newer buildings. Flagship projects are still here in Makati City, such as those located in Rockwell. And then you have Macapagal or the Bay Area, but it it is a totally different market, too saturated, I think, especially from the past previous years. And then you have Ortigas, which is similar to Makati City, but it is the least expensive. You can still find properties ranging at around 600, 700 pesos per square meter, especially for residential condos. So you really have different options, but I guess the main consideration would be your workplace. It is also worth noting, whether you're buying or leasing a property, that the prices are configured based on the classification of the property. So you have to ask, is this property in the affordable segment, mid-level segment, high-end market, or the ultra-luxury segment? And take note that some developers here will cater to different target markets. So they will have separate brands for these, such as Ayala Land. They have Amaya, Bella Vita for their affordable market, Alveo for the high-end market, and then the flagship is the Ayala Land Premier for the luxury and ultra luxury markets. And now that we've figured the location and the price, how do we get started with the renting process? So as a foreigner in any country, a valid government issued ID is very important. And provide at least 2 if you can. And if you're coming here for work, especially if your company is paying for your expenses, then a job contract or a certificate of employment shall be mandatory. And once you have a lease contract and you'll be paying on a monthly basis, the landlord may require you to issue post-dated checks. And in that case, you will have to open a bank account. And bank accounts will require an alien certificate of registration or an ACR from you. So once these documents are ready, you open your bank account, a checking account in particular, and prepare your post-dated checks that you will use for future payments. So these are just a few of the requirements that will be needed, but I tell you, these are the most important ones. And if there's anything else that your landlord may require from you, just provide it, as long as it doesn't breach anything that's too personal for you. So you got all your documents and certifications ready. What happens next? So you go online, you find listings that matches all of your requirements, and you coordinate with that agent in charge. But the one thing to consider is you gotta ask. You gotta ask if this agent is licensed or under a reputable broker. Because of course, you don't want to get scammed. You're not from the Philippines and you know nothing about the rental market and how the real estate market in the Philippines work. And when everything checks out, please schedule only on your most convenient day and time. This is to avoid cancellations, rescheduling, and of course, inconveniencing other people, especially the landlords or the sellers of the property. Let's all be professional because again, there's a lot of work that's put into this. We don't just turn on lights and open doors for a living. We know how important work is to you, but this is also our livelihood that matters to us. You have to understand that you will be asked certain questions regarding the tenancy. Some will be personal, such as your full name, if you have a family. As long as it's related to your tenancy, then that should be fine. Anything other than that, then that might be questionable. Another is, how long will your lease term be? Is it 1 year or 2 years? Are you capable of paying this amount of advance rental or this amount of security deposit? Here in the Philippines, it's usually 2 plus 2 or 1 plus 2, meaning it's 2 months security deposit and 2 months advance rental, or 1 year advance rental or 2 months security deposit. It really depends on your agreement with the landlord. So if I were you, just negotiate it with your broker and the landlord. It is very important that you understand the terms regarding the security deposit, maintenance responsibilities, and of course, this is often overlooked, sometimes a deal breaker, pet policies. Although the building may allow pets, some unit owners do not allow pets inside their units. When I do viewings, I often get asked, aside from the rentals, what other costs do I shoulder as a tenant? On top of the rent, as a standard, you only pay for the consumption-based expenses, such as for utilities like water, electricity, internet. Aside from that, everything else shall be shouldered by the landlord, especially the homeowners association fees. But still, you have to make sure that you understand the terms and your agreement with your landlord. I almost forgot. You also have to ask if the property you're renting is furnished, semi-furnished, or bare. If it is a furnished property, then you just gotta make sure that you don't damage anything, because if you do, then that'll be taken out of your security deposit. Regarding the return of the security deposit, it'll be returned to you at least 1 to 2 months after the end of your lease contract. The reason behind this? Well, the owner just has to make sure that everything checks out. You didn't leave any outstanding balances. All the furniture are not damaged. Appliances are in good working condition as it was delivered to you from day one. And you know, some bills really do take time before they are released. Usually, the turnaround is around 1 month. So who does the lease contract agreement? Well, anyone can. It can be you, it can be your broker or the landlord. The most important thing to consider is it should be favorable to all parties and not just to one. It should be very specific and should stipulate all the conditions beneficial to both parties. Because if anything goes wrong, you only fall back to the contract that you currently have. And you gotta make sure that it is notarized. So now that everything is in order, basically the lease is secured. So to recap everything, renting a property in the Philippines as an expat, as a foreigner, doesn't have to be hard. So we already talked about the types of properties that you can rent, the average rental rates, the areas or places that you should consider, understanding the lease contract, who pays for this, who pays for that. You already have it in mind, you already have it in the video. I know there's still so much more to talk about. I may have missed out some things, and if I did, please do comment it down below. If you have questions, please do the same. And if you found this video helpful, please do hit like and subscribe and share this video to your friends who might be visiting the Philippines anytime soon. Again, my name is Ralph. I am a licensed real estate broker, and this is The Shortlist.
Every change has a reason.